Yes, I'm gonna dance, dance to the drum. The death silence.
You sort of get the idea.
That is loud.
Could you do the boss gags real quick?
I would love to. You've been reading ahead in my playlist.
These are not bipolar, right?
So we're not talking about a ton of power. These are very highly sensitive speakers. And in terms of power handling, we've tested this speaker because, you know, with the manufacturer, you have to know how things are going to break if and when they break, right? You want to test things to destruction. And David Graebner, who's the designer of these things, just loves blowing stuff up, I swear. He's tested these things with 20 kilowatts of power and you know, fairly compressed rock and roll for program material. So the average level was very, very high. And he ran we had 20 kilowatts, we had 4 or 5 kilowatt amplifiers, and we had to rewire the speakers so we could use all 4 of them because 5 kilowatts didn't even come close to breaking them. 10 kilowatts didn't come close to breaking them. So we rewired the speakers so we could throw even more power at them, and 20 kilowatts still didn't break them. The subwoofers are also good for 5 kilowatts each RMS. So the limiting factor, with that kind of sensitivity, the limiting factor is here. Now, mind you, at 20 kilowatts, we were wearing earplugs and the hearing protection earmuffs. You can turn it up to the point where it doesn't sound good. Oh, it was beyond that. It was crazy. You can turn it up to the point where it no longer sounds good, but they're not particularly delicate. You if you have an uncontrolled right hand reflex, as my brother says, because you maybe had one too many or whatever, hard clipping can break almost anything.
Oh, sure.
So I'm not going to say it's impossible to damage them, but it's not easy. You have to work at it. And you know, or if you had a feedback loop, there is a microphone for the calibration process. If you plug the microphone in when you're not supposed to and you get a feedback loop, it's really loud and really scary, and your first instinct is going to be to go like this instead of pulling the plug, right? And if you let that feedback loop go for a while, that could probably break something. But you have to do something really profoundly stupid.
What model number is this?
This is the Wisdom Series LS4.
Mm-hmm.
LS for line source, 4, because it uses 4 of these large-scale modules, one of which you can see over there on the table turned sideways.
So, and then they're stacked on top of each other.
Well, it's all one speaker, but the modules, you know, there's one here,
Oh,
there's another
okay.
one here,
Okay.
and there's another one here, and then at the bottom. There's also an LS3, which if I had an LS3 here, it'd stop here.
Understood. What's the MSRP on the product?
This is $40,000 per cabinet. The LS3 is $30,000 per cabinet. Kind of easy to remember, at least in the United States. It's different everywhere else. We're using, we're sold in about 50 countries around the world, so, you know, international prices I can't give you. We're using a pair of the STS subwoofers that are hiding behind the curtain. Those are $10,000 each.
So you're looking at 40 times 2.
Right, 40 times 2, plus the 2 10s, plus a $6,500 crossover. So in this room, the Wisdom audio portion of the room is 106.5. Whether or not you need 2 subwoofers, or whether or not you need the big subwoofers that we're using here, depends on your room, your listening habits. I mean, this is obviously the large function room.
Yeah.
Those walls aren't actually here at low frequencies. They, the bass just
Goes everywhere.
flies through.
Yeah.
So in a real room, you may or may not need these particular subwoofers, but you know, it's the Newport Audio Show. Anything worth doing is worth doing to excess.
That's right. And what's your name?
My name is John Herrick.
Hi, John, and you're with
Sales.
Wisdom Audio. Very good. Thank you very much.